Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. Now this is going to be a little bit of a discussion or reflection, however you want to call it. Now I got it right. This is going to be a discussion based on the book A Spy in the House of Love by Anais Nin. I was kindly sent this by my friend Angelica as part of her Patreon rewards. It was sort of a buddy read thing, even though I sucked at it, but we still got to discuss it quite a bit. And as you can see, I tapped quite a few things because I am for once prepared and I wanted to do something with this because, as you can see by the title, I wanted to look at the concept of comfort versus passion and where the actual self is placed in that and where we can get a sort of solution of this confusion. I am rhyming it based on this novel. But first, of course, what is this about? Now, this story follows in typical Anais Nin fashion with beautiful, stunning writing, as you will see by the quotes I chose, hopefully. It follows the character of Sabina, who is married and is leaving her husband to go act as an actress, except she doesn't. She has affairs with other men, and through that she's trying to sort out what she wants in life and in love. So this is like the basic concept. I will also read you the blurb really quick. It says, A Spy in the House of Love is one of the most celebrated novels ever written on the psyche and sexuality of women. It explores the inner world of a fascinating and complex woman whose affairs with four men, I counted more actually, but we will get to that, express all the duplicity and fragmentation of self-involved in the search of love. Now I made a little list of the lovers and I counted Ellen. I don't know if I pronounce it English or not. Her husband. Then there's Philip, who is an opera singer. Then there's Mambo, who is a drum player. We have John, who is a grounded aviator, who is scarred by war. Then we have Donald, who is the policeman. I'm not sure about the policeman aspect, but he has definitely a mother complex. He has some mommy issues. And I also counted Jay. Not sure if they actually had an affair or just like flirting things. So yeah. I got a little confused at times who is who, and because sometimes they just like appeared out of nowhere, as I guess they do. But that's the only complaint really about this. Now, yeah, I want to also, no, I just remembered. I also want to explain, of course, the title, A Spy in the House of Love, because it is quite interesting. And this quote explains it, so let me read that to you. It was when she saw the lives of spies that she realized fully the tension with which she lived every moment, equal to theirs. The fear of committing themselves, of sleeping too soundly, of talking their sleep, of carelessness of accent or behavior, the need for continuous pretending, quick improvisations of motivations, quick justifications of their presence here or there. It seemed to Sabina that she could have offered her service or been of great value in that profession. I'm an international spy in the House of Love. So she sort of compares herself to a spy because of that constant awareness she has to have due to her actually acting out a role because of the many affairs she is leading. Which leads me to my first point of comfort. She leaves her husband, Alan, that's what I'm going to call him for now, to go act, except she's not. She's going to have an affair. And when she returns, she describes the meeting of re-meeting Alan as such, as if everything else she had experienced were but ordeals, and this the shelter, the place of happiness. I can't understand what impels me to leave this. This is happiness. And she then goes on and also says about himself, the trust she felt in his evenly modulated voice, both warm and light, in his harmonious manners, never sudden or violent, in his thoughts, which he waited before articulating, in his insights, which were moderated. He was later on then also described as a father. So we get the sense of comfort and protection from that. And we also get the quote saying about Alan again. Alan was the core of her life. These other moments, I assume she means her affair, of fever were moments in a dream, unsubstantial and vanishing as quickly as they came. But if Alan repudiated her, it was the death of Sabina. Her existence in Alan's eyes was her only true existence. To say to herself, Alan cast me off, was like saying, Alan killed me. So we get the sense of comfort even from herself. But it doesn't seem to make her happy. We then get this paragraph which describes perfectly how she feels as the actress she's portraying. For a moment, because of the caressing voice, the acceptance and the love he showed, she was tempted to say, Alan, I'm not an actress. I was not playing a part on the road. I never left New York. It was all an invention. I stayed in a hotel with... She held her breath. That was what she was always doing, holding her breath so that the truth would never come out at any time, not here with Alan, not in the hotel room with a lover who had asked questions about Alan. She held her breath to choke the truth, made one more effort to be the very actress she denied being, to act the part she denied acting, to describe this trip she had not taken, to recreate a woman who had been away for 8 days, so that the smile would not vanish from Alan's face, so that his trustingness and happiness would not be sheltered. So she really is sort of pretending that she is the actress she is actually not, and that comfort leads her to being not who she really is, which is described here as well. Not born of what she was, but of his wishes and hers. She even altered her rhythm for him, surrendered her heavy, restless gestures for her liking for large objects, large rooms, for timelessness, for caprice and sudden actions. Even her hands, which were sturdy, for his sake rested more gently upon objects around her. So she completely changes her way of being for him, for having this comfort, for being this wife of Alan and not Sabina. Then on the other hand, we have the passion and time she spends with her lovers, and it is different to what Alan is, as she describes Alan like this: he would never grow almost delirious with pleasure or other sounds not quite human from the jungle of man's earlier animalism. On the other hand, she describes her lover, in this case Philip. I have an urge to pronounce the names in French, I don't know why. She describes him that this was the gaze Sabina had always encountered in Don Juan. Everywhere, it was the gaze she mistrusted. It was the alchemy of desire fixing itself upon the incarnation of all women into Sabina for a moment, would as easily be a second process able to alchemize Sabina into many others. Then she also says about Philippe again, his handsomeness at night became a drug, and the image of his night blinded self-seeking her, touched her, and disarmed her. So we have this passion that almost transfers her again into being Sabina the lover, but once more not Sabina. And you can see that with switching between the two comfort and passion, you can see that she also feels this guilt. She feels guilty when she's at her lover's place, and she feels guilty when she is in Alan's house, guilty for not being with her lover, but also guilty for being with her lover. And you can ask the question, what is Sabina then? And where's the solution to that? And how can we fix that struggle we tend to face and we tend to have as well alongside Sabina? Because I think a lot of what Sabina goes through is very relatable to a human existence. I would not say a solely female, but mainly female struggle. We get a description of a young Sabina at age 16 that says, at 16 Sabina took moon baths. First of all, because everyone else took sun baths, and second, she admitted because she had been told it was dangerous. So we can already see that she wants to be something that others might not get or understand, but is her. We then get on the other page, we get a quote of, the moon baths crystallized many of Sabina's desires and orientations. Up to that moment, she had only experienced the simple rebellion against the lives which surrounded her, but now she began to see the forms and colors of other lives, realms much deeper and stranger and remote to be discovered, and that her denial of ordinary life had a purpose, to send her off like a rocket into other forms of existence. And also describing that they spoke of one birth, one childhood, one adolescence, one romance, one marriage, one maturity, one aging, one death, and they transmitted the monotonous cycle for their children. But Sabina, activated by the moon rays, felt germinating in her the power to extend time in ramifications of a myriad lives and loves, the seeds of many life places, of many women in herself. So she clearly wants to be many and not just one. And I think with every man, she is one thing that is not even herself or an aspect of herself, and she never is able to be all of them at the same time. And I think this is again a very female struggle and very human struggle. But like, a wife is never just a wife, a mother is never just a mother, a lover is never just a lover. We then also get at page 96, we get the very telling quote that says, she was afraid because there was no Sabina, not one, but a multitude of Sabinas, lying down, yielding, and being dismembered, constellating all directions and breaking. And then we also get later on, she had lost herself somewhere along the frontier between her inventions, her stories, her fantasies, and her true self. The boundaries had become effaced, the track lost. She had walked into pure chaos, not a chaos which carried her like galloping of romantic riders in operas, but which suddenly reveals the stage props, a papier-mâché horse. And then we get sort of the solutions for what does Sabina need to do to get what she actually desires. And the first sort of hint toward what she needs to do, and I think that's quite interesting, as it starts with this person, this lie detector, who she calls and then sets upon to investigate into Sabina's life. And then we get back to that scene of the beginning with the lie detector and Dunya, I guess, coming it all together and sort of showing her what is going on. So the first thing is what she is thinking of saying to Alan, what she is. Alan, here is a new version of Sabina, added to the rest. Fuse them well, hold onto them when you embrace her, hold them all at once in your arm, or else divided, separated, each image will live a life of its own, and it will not be one but 6 or 7 or 8 Sabinas who will walk sometimes in unison by a great offer of synthesis, sometimes separately, one of them following a deep drumming into forests of black hair and luxurious mouths, another visiting Vienna as it was before the war, and still another lying beside an insane young man, and still another opening maternal arms to the trembling, frightened Donald. So, this is her saying to herself that she needs to tell her husband, I am those people. You will have to live with all of them. I am all of those personalities in one, and you will have to live with all of them, or otherwise they will go out separately and live their life. And I think this is a very close struggle to people in relationships, and why I'm not rushing into a relationship, or I am a person who likes to be around a person for a longer while before I really get the sense of wanting to live with them, because I feel like only then they will know all of me, most of me, and I am comfortable with having them, because they are accepting of every aspect of myself. We also get this outside perspective that says that we, here it is. Wait. There, okay. Yeah, we get the outside perspective on Alan here, because she is describing him to a friend, and she says, that's not a man's love you are describing, not even a father's love. It's a fantasy father, an idolized father once invented by a needy child. This love you need, Alan has given you. This form of love, you are right to trust him, but you will lose him one day. And then it goes on and says, I'm sorry, I wrote down the pages here. It goes on and says, and I think this is really important, the enemy of love is never outside. It's not a man or a woman. It's what we lack in ourselves. You have to set yourself free. That will come with love, said the lie detector. And then also on the other page, you haven't loved yet, he said, We've only been trying to love, beginning to love. Trust alone is not love. Desire alone is not love. Illusion is not love. Dreaming is not love. And I think this is something we observe in the world of relationships today, that we rush into things and then we get unsatisfied. We marry quickly and then realize, oh wait, it's not the person I thought they are, and it's not always the person's fault, but also like how we see the person, and we are projecting something that they aren't. And it's a lot of pretending, and as the quote says, trust alone is not love, desire alone is not love, illusion is not love, dreaming is not love. And first we have to find ourselves to be able to, I'm sorry, it's getting dark, to find love and to be able to find a person who actually sees us. And that's why I always say, or I personally don't believe in love at first sight, because it's not working with me, because you are loving the person you think they are and not who they really are. I'm trying to make it more bright, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's basically the message I took out of this, that you first need to find yourself and be able to love yourself until you can go out and find a person who is willing to discover all sides of you. But you also have to be willing to show them those sides, because if you are always closed up, you will never find someone who can love all of them, and then it can happen that they are projecting something onto you. So yeah, I think this is what always makes me aware of why I am in no rush to go into a relationship, because I would rather get to know a person a little bit more than just rushing into it. I will probably do another video on those types of things, of how I feel like this has a lot to do with the whole thing of separation in a marriage or in a relationship, and how that can be caused with that notion that we think we know a person but we don't really, and we oftentimes blame the other person, even though it can also be something we projected on them. So yeah, it was a great book. I loved it very much. Anais Nin is a great writer, as you were hopefully able to see by the quotes. It was very poetic to read, and I look forward to all the other works I'm going to read by her. Thanks again, Angelica, for sending this to me, and be patient with me, because I was falling a little bit behind with reading it due to a bit of uni stress. But again, thanks for watching. It was a bit of a longer video, but I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you soon in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.